Hello everybody, my name is Alan from Sauber-Lab and today will be another video about TrueNAS. In this video we are using TrueNAS 24.10 and we're gonna show how you can manage your credential. When I say that you're gonna manage your credential, it means that you're gonna manage users, group, and how you configure the ACL for your dataset. In this way you can make sure that some users have access for some specific share folders but not others, or some groups have access for some set of folders but not everything in your server. So if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're going to show in this video, but first of all, don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and let's understand a little bit more about it. As always, I will start this video explain a little bit more about my system, and then we're gonna explain about users, credentials, and then how you can set the dataset in order to make sure that the correct users have access for the correct folders. So first thing, we're gonna come here my screen, and here my screen, if you look, I'm using the TrueNAS scale revision 24.10, and here it's a physical computer. Remember, all time that you use TrueNAS, try to make sure that you use a physical computer, otherwise they will not work as expected. Also, this is exactly the same computer that have 16 GB of memory RAM, and you have a really old CPU, but it still work and it's still doing what I need. Here I have one pool already created, and I have my network and basically no traffic because it's on the test machine. If I come here my storage, you can see my storage. If you look, I have only one hard drive, and that they read highlight for me that no redundancy. If my data is lost or that hard drive fail, all my data is lost. Don't worry about it because it's only trial. So if you look, you have only 1.48 GB of data there. Next stage, what we need to make sure that it's configured, it's my credentials. Here in credentials, I have users and groups. You have two ways to do it. What I suggest to do is first create your groups, and that you start to create your users based on the groups. What I did something a little bit different. Basically, I come here in users and I create first my users. One thing that you should have in mind is that if you come to create new users, you come here, you type all the information that you want, and here if this option select, they will create the same primary group with the same name of the user. So if you start to input 50 users and you forget to unselect this one, they will create 50 different groups. So have this one in mind for you unselect it, and this way they will not create new users or new groups for each user. Anyway, if I come here and I go for my users, I have 3 users that are great. I have user 1, user 2, and user 3. Why I create those users? I want to make sure that it's work the way that I want. Anyway, user 1, user 2, user 3. Also, if I come here in my groups, the groups is exactly the same names, but I did some modifications. What I did, if I come here in members, I can see all the members for my users, and here the group 1 have user 1, 2, 3 inside this group. If I don't want to use those, I can basically remove it. User 1 and user 2, it's inside group 1. And here will be only user 2 and the other one only user 3. So now, once that I create my group, my user, now we can start to modify my permissions. If I come here in dataset, I already create some folders. Here in the folders, inside the folder data, I have permissions, everyone, others can read it. Why I select that is can read it? Because if I don't select for read, they will not have access for this folder, but they cannot write anything. And here under these folders, at the moment it's exactly the same. What it's others know, what don't allow anyone else to see it unless they are the root. So let's start to modify first the permission of user 1 or the folder called user 1. If I come here and select for user 1 to have access, only user 1 will have access, and this will be the master. What I want to do, I wanted to select different permissions that some user will have access, others user will not have access. This reason I will select ACL. Here when I select ACL, I can create a custom ACL specific for me, or I can use the standard ones. What I suggest you to do is use one of those standard ones. Before you ask Alan, how I know what I should select? If I come here, and here they will give the explanation. Basically, open, everyone can modify, restrict, no one can modify unless you give the permissions. Home, you have select users that can modify, and admin, only the admins can modify. In other words, depending on what you select, they will basically change these orders. Here in this way, they will give permissions for read and write execute for all the roots and objects and groups that sits under root, but here in others they say none. If I wanted to make permissions that all the users have a permission to read what's inside, I will select as read. If I don't want to select anything, there will be no access at all. But this one don't fix my case, because I still need to add new users. So first thing, once I want to add a group or user, I need to come here and I will select mask, and I need to give permission for this mask to have access. If you don't create a mask, they will have an error and they will not allow you to go in the next stage. Now I will put add item, and I come here in group and I select for read, write and execute for group 1, and I will select these permissions and come here and apply. Now I will come here in user 2 and I will do exactly the same step. I will come here in permissions, I will put set ACL. They will ask what kind of permission that I want. I can come here, put restrictive the same way that I configured before. I'll add a mask that will give access for read, write and execute. And here I will add another one that will give me the group. In this case, I will say users 2, read, write, execute. Allowed that will have the permissions and will save it. Now I will do exactly the same for the group 3. Set dataset, restrictive, continue, create a mask that will give permission for everything. I'll continue here and save. Now all those share folders has been configured. You're gonna ask, Alan, now we need to configure a sum for each one. No, we don't need, because if you look here in the top of the tree, data, they already been configured for the share folder or the SMB, and if I come here in shares, they already been created as a share. So if I access it, I'll be able to access it. So what I'm gonna do, I will come here and map it. I'll put connect a different credential and put create. I'll use user 1, put my password and enter, and now I have access for this folder. As I told, user 1 have a permission for user, what I can delete things. I have permission for user 2. No, I don't have permission, and I don't have permission for user 3. If I want that my user 1 have access for this user 2 folder, I basically can come here, dataset, come here in my share folder, and come here in permissions, and I will add this user. Let's go to user 1 to have permission to read, write, execute. I will select this all the subfolders to have the same ACL, and I will save it. Now if I go back here, I can have access and I can delete, I can create and continue on. One thing that you need to have in mind is that if I create here inside this folder and I come here to modify the permission, let's say now I only want to give a read permission instead of read and write, and I will put, and this time I'll not select this, I will save this control. What it means, if I come here and try to create a new folder, I will not be able to do anything, but I will still be able to do anything that I want inside this new folder, because I create it, I can modify, and it's not ideal because I changed this permission. This reason that all the time that you want that all the subfolders apply with the same permission, remember to come here and put continue, continue and save. In this way all the subfolders will have exactly the same permission. Other thing that's interesting, is once that I make all the configuration the way that I want, if I come here and edit, I always can save this one as a specific name. What it means? It means that they will create a template, and from this template I always can import or export for different datasets. So let's say that I will create a template called test. All the time that I create a new dataset, I can use that one as a standard, and that's used for modification with the new dataset and modifying for the specific users. In this case, I will not create, but only for have in mind for speed up the process. One thing that you can see, I didn't give any permission for any app or virtualization. So in the next video, when we go to focus in virtualization, we're gonna explain how you can create permissions for virtualization and the same thing for the app. What will be not the focus for this one, it's only basically users and groups. So in this way we arrive at the end of the video. I hope that you guys like this video. If you like this video and think that was interesting, don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and see you next time. Bye.